Okay, so I've switched back over to IIS 7 here to show you the same application. Just show you the web.config file is exactly the same, deny users equals star, using ASP.NET URL authorization. Okay. And if I go back to my default page and try to browse to it, because I'm denying all users, I'm going to be denied. And that's not too surprising. Now if I surf to Merlin, our static GIF file, it does get served up just like in IIS 7. Search just like in IIS 6. So the behavior is the same when you're using ASP.NET URL authorization. Now let me flip over to some slides and show you how IIS 7 URL authorization works, and then we can start using that. So here are the details of how IIS 7 URL authorization works. There are some new elements. Instead of allow and deny, we have add and remove. And the order doesn't matter. When you put deny elements in there, deny elements are kind of like a sledgehammer. They always take precedence over allow. So what you're going to find is that you're going to use deny elements less. You don't need to actually use them oftentimes at all. So what we're going to do is if we take a look at the root config file for IIS 7, you'll see that it has a default rule that says for users equals star, we're going to allow users equals star. So in our application, we're going to clear that out. We're going to clear out all of the entries that are inherited. So that makes this rule go away. And now we start with a blank slate. Nobody's granted any access by default. So we can now start adding users in one by one. And just like with ASP.NET URL authorization, we not only have the users attribute, but we also have verbs and we have roles. So when I start talking about roles later on, be aware that you can use roles with this as well, just like you can with ASP.NET. So in this particular case, since we've cleared out everything that comes before it, it's very clear what's going on. Only Bob will have access to this application in this particular sense. So let's flip back over now and see how this actually works in practice in IIS 7. So if we take a look at our web.config file, once again, remember this is ASP.NET's authorization. We're not going to mess with that. I'm going to use IIS 7's auth. In fact, I'm not even going to type it. I'm going to go into IIS 7 here and just use the features, the GUI, to go ahead and edit that for me. Now it's kind of interesting to note, IIS 7 incorporates ASP.NET modules as well as IIS modules. But if you look through ASP.NET, you will not see authorization rules there. That doesn't mean that ASP.NET authorization isn't supported here. It's just that the GUI doesn't support it because they're trying to encourage you to use IIS's version of this, which is generally better. So if we go ahead and take a look at IIS's authorization rules, you'll see that the only entry we have here is an inherited entry from the root that allows all users. That's what we've expected to see. If we remove that entry, and then we add an allow rule to allow, let's say, administrator, W2008, whack administrator. Okay, we'll go ahead and add an allow rule. Let's go and take a look at what happened to our config file. You'll notice it's been changed. And now we've removed, scroll this over here, we've removed the, this is a very specific, instead of doing clear, this just removed a particular rule that matched users equals star, no roles, or any role, and any verb. This would be exactly the same as saying clear. It would have the same effect in this case. And we've added an entry for administrator. So now if we go and surf back to Merlin and refresh, administrator has permission to get to Merlin, and administrator also has permission to get to default.aspx. Oh, wait, he doesn't have permission. Why not? Because we still have ASP.NET authorization going on, which affects managed resources only. Let's get rid of that. Okay, you really don't want to have both going at the same time because, as you can see, it's kind of confusing. I kind of confused myself there. So jump back to our browser here and refresh, and now things are working properly. So administrator has access to Merlin and has access to the manage page. So the nice thing about IIS 7 URL authorization is that it affects everything, static resources and managed resources at the same time.